I have a weed eater hedge trimmer. It's the 19-inch Excalibur, and the fuel lines have basically disintegrated. They started cracking while I was using it and fell off. So the fuel lines here are getting brittle and need to be replaced. So I'm going to walk through how to replace them. It'll be a bit of an experiment because I've never replaced them, but we'll figure it out together. As you can see, I tried to fix it because I was using it when it broke, and I just needed it to run a little longer so that I could finish what I was doing. And I tried to do some heat shrink tubing onto the lines and then I did these zip ties, and that didn't work. It couldn't create enough suction in order for it to suck fuel up. So what I did is I ordered from Amazon some new fuel line. I wasn't entirely sure on the size, but I got this is off Amazon. It's supposed to be 4 sizes, 4 feet. So hoping that somewhere in this package is the right sizes, because you can see the 2 different sizes that are currently on here. It's a larger one and a small one. One of them is the pickup and the other one is the return, I believe. I don't know which one's which, but hopefully within this package I've got the 2 sizes that I need and enough length of them. First step is going to be make sure there's no gas in it. Which I've done. It's empty. And then it's to take apart the handle, because the handle is where the fuel lines go. So the carburetor is up here, so fuel lines are going into the carburetor and they're going down into the handle, and in the handle is the tank. So I'm going to have to take apart the handle in order to get to the lines going in to the tank. And the handle has got these kind of a hex head almost screw head, bolt head to them. So we're going to pop, it's like 1, 2, 3 of those off. I don't know what I'm going to find when I get in here. Obviously there's a spring inside for the trigger, so I'll have to take it apart slowly and carefully and just keep track of where parts went. Might be a good idea to take a picture of it so that once it's all apart, you can figure out how it goes back together. I mentioned keeping track of the screws so you know where they came out of. They're not all the same size. The long one went in here, shorter one went in here. So I'm going to lay them out in the order that I took them out so I can figure out which ones to put back in where. This half came off, and we'll move this out of the way. And as you can see now, here's the on and off switch, here's the trigger. Already kind of regretting this project. So this trigger went in like that. I think it went there. This we should be able to leave in there. So now what we've got to do is we've got to get the 2 fuel lines out. So the so the fatter tube comes out of the front hole and goes up to the top. The skinnier tube came out of, you can see it's, for whatever reason, it loops under and around and then down in. Try and duplicate that routing when we put this thing back together. But I'm going to slide off this, pop this off of here, and let's just see here. My guess is that, I'm thinking this is the big one's probably the return tube, because the small one has a fuel filter on the end of it. But if you look inside the gas tank there, you can see there's a fuel filter on the small one right here, and the big one's got an end on it that isn't going to be able to be pulled through the tank. So I think we're going to have to push this one down into the tank. I'm going to try and take off the thinner one first, smaller one first. So smaller one goes on the bottom. Oh, what the hell? That is not cooperating at all. This is going to be a bigger pain in the ass than I thought. All right, there we go. So we're going to cut this right there. We're going to see if we can't get you to come up and out. There we go. So that one's out. I don't want to break the plastic piece that's on the end of the hose. So I'm trying not to grab it. I'm trying to grab the hose. Alright, well, you can see I did grab onto it and I pulled it off. Maybe that will be enough now for me to slide this up and out. There we go. So that is the return line, I believe. Well, this is a mess. Alright, so this is way too big. So it's not that one. Could be this one for the larger one. Let's take a look. Hard to tell. I'm going to say this is too big to be the larger one. Oh my God. Holy cow. All right. This one, that looks like that's the one. So this is the old and the new. Looks like the inside diameter is about right, even though the outside diameter is a little bit bigger. That could be trouble. Can't be the smallest one, can it? No, that seems like that's smaller, so I think this is the one. But the fact that the outside diameter is larger has me concerned, because remember, we have to try and push this thing through that small opening. So what really matters is that it fits the things we want it to fit. Okay, so the end fits in, and it was the top one up here. So I'm going to say this is the right one for the larger hose, and then the smaller hose we wanted to go here. That one's going to fit there. It's going to be real tight, which is good. Out of the 4 hoses that came in that package, that any 2 of them are exactly right. The new line is probably inside diameter is about the same, but the outside diameter is a little bit bigger. So we'll have a hard time getting those through the holes. That's what that means. So if you thought that this project was frustrating up to this point, brace yourselves, because this part's going to suck. There's no way this thing's going to fit in there. I don't really want to drill these holes any bigger. Try a very small flat blade screwdriver and see if I can't push it through. The screwdriver is likely to do less damage. We'll give it a shot. We'll give it a shot. Let's try the persuader.
can't persuade it. The old finger finder 100. Boy, this is... I'm not sure if I'm going to make the hole bigger accidentally here. I might. You might. You might. I think it's just ripping it. I don't think it's going in. I think I'm pounding the screwdriver through the hose. Try giving this side a little tap tap. Just tap it in. Just tap it in. Yeah, that just went right through the hose. Right through the hose. And then trying to get the screwdriver back out. Pulls the hose out. You know, I might just have to drill it and seal it with something. Alright, so we've given up on trying to run the line, which we saw was larger, through the existing hole. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drill the holes out. We know that both of them are smaller than my new lines. So I'm going to drill my holes out. I'm only going to go as big as I need to, because I really don't want to have to try and seal this up. I'm hoping that if I drill this out just a little, this will still be snug enough that it makes a good seal. If I go too big and I don't get a good seal, I'm going to have to put something on this, probably some silicone sealant or something. Which is 13/64. Oops. Alright, let's try get the crunchies out of there. Good stuff. Good stuff. Oh, that's fun. Oh, this is something else. Half an hour video of me trying to put this hose in here. That'll be exciting. Is this to push down? Hey! Hey, all right. This might be working a little bit. Might be. So grab. All right, so as you can see, I got that one to come through. It is moving pretty easily, so I might have the hole a little bit on the big side. All right, so now that's on. That guy back on. Got him going through. Hey, so that's 50% of the hoses. So that's something. Oh yeah. Well, so I would not go any larger. If you're following my instructions and you're getting the same package of 4 hoses that I got, then this is the drill bit you want to use. 9/64. Because as you saw, that went in pretty easily. But we're going to run the line out of the tank, and then we're going to grab our filter, and then we're going to stick our filter on here. Now we're going to pull that in, and that fuel filter needs to sit in the bottom of the tanks. Don't make the line too short. Leave it sitting there. All right, so if you remember, both of these lines went inside the handle, into this little groove that was here, like so. Okay, and then it went up to the carburetor. Let's here. I think if this, if I have this long enough, that these lines dry out again, I'll throw it away. Okay, so that one's on. Same thing then with the other one. I took a picture, so you could always remember how this went. And we're gonna go, I don't want to run them together because remember there's this little clamp that goes on. So they need to run somewhat together, and I'm going to cut it right there. That should do it. So then we slide this guy up onto this top one. We have this little clamp. So we'll snap the hoses in. Like so. I have both of my new lines on, and what we have to do now is put the handle back together. So first things first, let's take the throttle cable, reattach that. And then I gotta get the switch back in there. This part is proving to be pretty tricky. I want to get these wires tucked in away from this trigger and spring, but they don't want to stay. I'm going to zip tie the fuel lines to the wiring so that it stays in place while I'm trying to put this handle back together. You got to keep the trigger in there, you got to keep the switch in there, you got to keep the wiring in there, you got to keep the two fuel lines in there, and you need to keep your sanity. This is the closest that I've ever been. So I'm going to try to put these screws in. I don't know if you can see it or not. Let's see what I did with that zip tie. As I zip tied the two fuel lines together with that wire, because that was the only way, because all three of those things have to fit through a tiny slot in the handle. This one you got to be careful on, don't over tighten it. It has to be loose enough to let that trigger move. So now the last thing would be to cut this zip tie off. I don't think I'm going to do that until I'm sure I got this back together properly. So far everything seems to be working though. Again, like I mentioned, this I thought this piece right here was for the palm of your hand, but I wouldn't be able to pull the trigger. I can, and I don't think I'm supposed to. The other piece though is this is supposed to lock that on so that when I'm trying to get it started, it's already giving it gas, and then when you go to grab the trigger, it pops off. So that part's working. I'm okay with that. So I'm going to cut that zip tie off that I put in there. It's been about an hour and a half, real time. So that's how long this has taken me. What I don't want to do is get too close to the wire or the fuel lines that I just put on when I'm cutting this, because that would be bad. If I cut that wire, then there'll be a new video of me smashing this. I'm also going to, again, try to make sure that all the chunks are out of there. Spray some carb cleaner in there so you can't rinse that out. Next thing, put some gas in it and let's go try it and see if it works. $40 to 1. Like I pointed out outside, there is a little bit of gas dripping. You can see. So again, I'm going to keep my eye on it. It's not a lot. I had it inverted, so that would be why. But that happens a lot when you're trimming hedges. So I'm just going to keep an eye on it, but definitely that's better than it was. If anything, I'd recommend maybe putting a little dab of silicone if you had to drill that second hole out as large as I did. But it's running now, and it wasn't running before, so that's a huge improvement. Thanks for watching.